All right, coming back once again, thanking the Lord for so much. Giving a great shout out to the whole YouTube family. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm actually just coming back to redo this video. For some reason, I cannot get this video to go through, but hopefully it'll go through this time. And to God be the glory. We was talking about the 7 churches. And I want to show you how the 7 churches compare with the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 plagues. And if you've been keeping up with me, I already explained what was going on in each one of those churches and the problems that the Lord had with them and the problems that he didn't have with some of them. And when you look at the number 7, once again, the number 7 is completion. We know that by now. So big shout out to everybody who's been keeping up and following along. Now, when we look at Ephesus, we go back to looking at that seal with the white horse. Now, that it came to conquer. Satan's job is to destroy the church. Destroy the church completely. That's why the church is being under attack so hard, and that's why judgment starts in the house of God first, because there's a lot of churches that are out of order. Well, when you look at the white horse, which was coming to cause all this confusion, and I like to call it mass deception in the church. And then you look at the trumpet. What happened when that angel sounded off that trumpet? Hell and fire on the earth. And then you look at the plague, earth soars. Now, when we move on to Smyrna, we think about the red horse and that seal, where the red horse came to take peace from the earth. That's why a lot of churches don't have peace in there right now. Peace from the earth, and it confused all this confusion going on. Well, when you look at the trumpet, when it blows, what happened then? Burning mountains in the sea. And when you look at that plague, sea, blood. Because once again, God said he would never destroy the world with a flood ever again. He made that covenant to Noah that would never happen. But we see in Revelation about fire. We see so much about fire. Now, when we look at Pergamos, which is tied in that seal with the black horse, then when you look at the trumpet, warm wood in the rivers and springs. Well, what happened in that plague? The rivers and springs full of blood. Now, we see how the churches, each church compare with a seal. And then you got a trumpet sound, and then you got a plague. Now, let's look at Thyatira, the pale horse. And we all know by now what the pale horse meant. But when you look at the trumpet, what happened? The sun, the moon, and the stars were darkened, and the sky rolled up. And what happened in that plague? Scorched with heat. The sun scorched with heat. And you remember those when the angel was pouring out the bowls, that one of the angels poured a bowl on the sun and it started scorching the men, and they still didn't want to repent, and they started blaspheming and cursing God. Now let's look at Sardis. Now remember that seal, which is the 5th. Souls under the altar was asking for the judgment because they was crying out, how long, Lord, is it going to be for you judge the earth? Because they did some dangerous, they did some things to those souls under the altar. Those folks went through some stuff. That's why God is going to allow them to see his judgment. And when you look at the sound of the trumpet, then what happened? Smoke from the bottomless pit. And what happened in that plague? Darkness on the throne of the beast. See how this go together? You see how the church can combine with the seal, the trumpet, and then the plague. Let's look at Philadelphia. The earthquake, the sun, the moon, the stars. And when you look at the trumpet, what happened? Angels on the Euphrates River with the plagues of the fire, smoke, and there it is, brimstone. What happened in that plague? The Euphrates dried up. Now we move on to the last one, which is the 7th one, Laodicea. And we all know what happened with that church. But when you look at Laodicea, then you look at the 7th seal. See, there was a pause after the 6th seal because the 7th seal was different. Because after that seal, there was a silence. And this is how you get your, excuse me, I said that a little backwards. Let me say it like this. This is how you get your trumpets. You get the 7th trumpet comes after the 7th seal. That's why the seals have to come first. That's why I say 5 of these seals have already been revealed. Just to me, they are going on right now as I speak. And when you look at the 6th seal, that's why we know the 6th seal haven't happened yet, because of what I just said about the earthquake, the sun, and the moon, and the stars. And when you look at the angels on the Euphrates River with plagues of fire, smoke, and brimstone, the Euphrates dried up. That's why I pause on the fifth seal. Excuse me. Now let's look at Laodicea. There was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. If I believe I'm saying it correctly, there was silence. And why was there silence? Midi Man gonna come back and tell you that. And Midi Man, I know you're looking at this video, and I want you to say it just like you said when we spoke that time. You told me why there was a silence in heaven, and I've never heard that before, and I love that. So if you can just do a 2-minute video on that, why there was a silence. And when you look at the trumpet, well, the gospel must be preached. And then when you look at the plague, well, the second coming of Christ. 777. The 7 churches combined with the 7 seal, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 plagues. So hopefully this can make a little more sense to you to help you understand Revelation a little more also. That's why I'm breaking it down like this. So may God bless you and may God keep you. Take care.